everyone, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Bill, and if you've ever wondered how to actually start thinking in English, you're in for a treat today.
Hi, friends. I'm Sarah, your co-host, and today's topic is super important. Thinking in English is one of the biggest milestones for language learners. It's that point where English stops being just a subject and starts becoming a part of your life.
Exactly. And the truth is, thinking in English can speed up your fluency, improve your speaking confidence, and help you stop translating everything word for word in your head.
We're going to share what it really means to think in English, why it's tough at first, and most importantly, how you can train your brain to do it naturally.
So whether you're a beginner who keeps translating from your native language, or you're an advanced learner who wants to speak more fluently, this episode is for you.
Grab your notebook or just sit back and relax because by the end of this episode, you'll have clear steps to help your mind switch to English mode.
Let's get into it. All right, before we jump into the how, let's get clear on what we mean by thinking in English. Sarah, how would you describe it?
Good question. Thinking in English means that instead of translating from your native language into English, you start forming thoughts directly in English. So your brain starts using English words, grammar, and sentence patterns automatically without needing to convert anything.
Right. It's like when you're hungry, instead of thinking in your own language and then translating, you just think, I'm hungry, simple, direct, and in English.
Exactly. It's that natural feeling like the language is living inside your brain, not just in your notebook or textbook.
But here's the thing for most learners, especially beginners and even some intermediates, it feels almost impossible at first. Why do you think that is?
Because our brains are used to habits. If you've been translating in your head for years, it becomes automatic. And also, many learners are afraid of making mistakes, so they double-check every sentence in their mind, and that slows down thinking.
Yeah, the inner critic, right? Is this correct? What's the word for that again? And boom, you're stuck in a loop.
Totally. But what most people don't realize is that you don't need perfect grammar to start thinking in English. Even small, simple thoughts like, I go shop now, can be the beginning of thinking in English. It's more about fluency than accuracy at first.
I love that. And thinking in English doesn't mean you know every word. It means you're comfortable using what you do know without relying on translation.
Yes, and over time your brain builds connections in English. You start to feel what sounds right the same way you do in your native language.
So don't worry if it feels weird or slow at first. It's just like training a muscle. The more you use English to think, the stronger it becomes.
Absolutely. And in the next section, we'll talk about the most common obstacles learners face and how to break.
Okay, now let's talk about the part that frustrates a lot of learners. The obstacles. Thinking in English sounds great, but why does it feel so hard in real life?
Oh, so many reasons. But one of the biggest ones is what I call the translation trap. A lot of learners try to translate every word or sentence from their native language into English, and that just slows everything down.
Right, and not only does it slow you down, it often leads to awkward English, because word-for-word translations don't always work.
Exactly. For example, in some languages, you might say, it makes me cold instead of I feel cold. If you try to translate that directly, it doesn't sound natural in English.
Yeah, I've seen that so often. Another big obstacle is fear. Fear of making mistakes. Some learners are so focused on saying everything perfectly that they get stuck in their heads.
I totally agree. Perfectionism is a major block, but language is about communication, not perfection. You don't need perfect grammar in your thoughts, just clarity.
And let's not forget mental fatigue. Trying to think in a second language can feel exhausting, especially if you're not used to it. Your brain is working double first, translating, then speaking.
That's so true. I remember one student told me, I can read and write in English, but when I try to think or speak, my brain freezes. It's like their mind goes blank.
Yeah, that blank brain moment is real. But it's not a sign of failure, it's a sign of transition. Your brain is learning to let go of your first language in that moment.
Beautifully said, Bill. And one more thing, environment. If you're surrounded by your native language all the time, it's really hard to make the mental shift to English.
Absolutely. If you only use English in the classroom or during lessons, your brain won't treat it as a thinking language, just a school language.
So if you're listening right now and thinking, that sounds like me, don't worry. These are very common challenges and they can be overcome.
Definitely. And up next, we're going to show you how to do that with some simple, practical steps to start training your brain to think in English every day.
Stick with us, it's going to get really useful now.
All right. Now for the good stuff, the how. How can you actually train your brain to think in English? Let's break it down step by step with real strategies anyone can start using today.
Yes. And remember, these steps work best when you're consistent. Even 10 to 15 minutes a day can make a huge difference over time. The first step is really simple: label your environment in English. I mean, literally, look around your room and start naming things in English: chair, window, mirror, laptop.
You can even put sticky notes on objects if you want. That way, every time you see something, your brain starts connecting the English word with the object, not the word in your native language.
Exactly. It turns your surroundings into a mini English classroom.
Step 2 is one of my personal favorites, inner speech. That means talking to yourself in your mind using English.
Like when you're brushing your teeth, you could think, I'm brushing my teeth now. The water is cold. Just simple thoughts in real time.
Yes, it's like narrating your day in English silently. You can do it while walking, cooking, or even before sleeping.
Now, don't try to think in complicated grammar or advanced vocabulary. That's a trap. Just use simple, short sentences like, it's sunny today, I am tired like coffee.
The goal is fluency, not perfection. Once simple sentences become natural, your brain will automatically start building more complex ones. Another great trick: describe your actions or surroundings as you go through the day. For example, I'm walking to the kitchen. I see a red car. I'm opening the fridge.
Yes, this builds your ability to think in real time, which is so important for speaking fluently later. Here's a fun one: when you imagine something, do it in English. If you're daydreaming about your future job or planning a vacation, try thinking in English.
That's a great way to connect emotions and imagination to English, which strengthens memory and fluency. This one is simple but powerful. Change your phone language, social media, and apps to English.
Yes, it forces your brain to interact with English every day, and you'll start understanding words in context.
You'd be surprised how quickly you start remembering words like settings, notifications, or update available.
Create small parts of your day where translation is not allowed, maybe 10 minutes each morning or while doing chores. English only even in your mind.
At first it'll feel tough, but soon your brain will start finding ways to fill the gap with English, not your first language.
So, to recap: 1. Label your surroundings. 2. Use inner speech. 3. Think in simple sentences. 4. Describe what you see or do. 5. Daydream in English. 6. Switch your phone to English. 7. Practice no translation zones.
These steps are simple but powerful. Start with just 1 or 2 and build from there.
Coming up next, how to boost your English exposure during the day so your brain stays in English mode more often.
Let's keep it going! All right, so we've covered the steps to train your brain. But here's the secret sauce: exposure. The more you surround yourself with English, the faster your brain adapts.
Yes. Think of it like living in an English-speaking country even if you're not. You can create that environment by choosing to expose your brain to English throughout your day.
Exactly. For example, start your morning by listening to an English podcast or YouTube video while getting ready.
And don't just listen, notice how words and phrases are used. Even if you don't understand everything, your brain is learning patterns, rhythm, and pronunciation.
Same goes for music. English songs are everywhere. Try reading the lyrics and singing along. It's fun, and it builds vocabulary without feeling like study.
Totally. Another powerful method is watching shows or movies with English subtitles, not your native language subtitles that won't help you think in English.
Right, because when you read in your native language, your brain switches back. But English subtitles help your brain connect the sound and meaning together.
You can also follow English-speaking influencers or creators on social media. Even short Instagram stories or TikToks can add little moments of exposure throughout the day.
I love that idea. And don't forget reading. Start small, maybe short articles, quotes, or even memes in English. Then build up to books or blogs.
And here's a bonus tip: change your digital world. Make your browser, your phone settings, even your GPS in English. It might feel strange at first, but soon it becomes natural.
The key is repetition. The more often your brain sees and hears English, the more it starts to treat it like your default language.
Exactly. It's like telling your brain, hey, this is the language we use now, and it listens.
Coming up next, we'll give you a few practice techniques you can use to lock in what you're learning and keep your brain thinking. Okay, now that we've talked about exposing your brain to English, let's go over a few practice techniques that really work, things you can do actively to reinforce thinking in English.
Right. One technique I love is the shadowing method. It's where you listen to a native speaker, maybe in a podcast, a video, or even a movie, and try to repeat what they say at the same time or just after them.
Yes, it's great for pronunciation, rhythm, and training your brain to respond quickly in English. It's like copying the flow of the language.
Exactly, and you don't have to get every word perfect. The goal is fluidity, not perfection. Just let your mouth and brain get used to moving in English.
Another great technique is journaling, but in English. Even if it's just 2 or 3 sentences a day, writing your thoughts helps your brain practice forming ideas in English without translation.
Absolutely. It can be as simple as, today I felt tired. I went to the market. I saw a dog. It doesn't need to be poetic, just real.
And here's a fun idea. Create your own no translation zone in your home, maybe your bedroom or when you're on a walk. During that time, you only allow your brain to use English, even in your thoughts.
That's such a good challenge. It really pushes your brain to search for English words even if they're basic, instead of falling back into your native language.
Exactly. And remember, it's okay to pause. It's okay to make mistakes. The point is to get your brain used to staying in English mode.
Practice doesn't have to be boring. These small activities, shadowing, journaling, no translation time, they all add up.
And they really work. Coming up next, we'll talk about how to stay motivated when things get frustrating.
Because yes, it gets tough, but we've got you covered.
All right, so let's be real. Learning to think in English isn't always smooth sailing. There will be moments of frustration, doubt, and even burnout.
Yes, and that's completely normal. Language learning is not a straight line. Some days you feel like a genius, and other days, even basic words feel hard.
So true. The key is to expect those ups and downs and don't let them stop you. When frustration hits, just remind yourself this is part of the process.
Absolutely. And celebrate small wins. Maybe today you thought in English for 5 minutes. That's a win. Maybe you understood a sentence in a movie. That's progress.
And don't compare your journey to others. Everyone learns at a different pace. Just focus on being a little better than you were yesterday.
Also, make it fun. Listen to songs you love, watch shows that make you laugh, journal your dreams. Learning should feel rewarding, not like punishment.
And surround yourself with positive voices. Find language communities online or listen to podcasts like this one. They remind you that you're not alone.
You've got this, keep going. Your brain is listening and it's learning more than you think.
Coming up next, we'll wrap up everything we've talked about with some final thoughts and a quick action plan you can start today.
Let's bring it home!
Before we wrap up, let's address one of the most common questions we get from listeners. Do I need to be fluent to start thinking in English?
Great question. The answer is no, you don't need to be fluent to think in English. You can start with basic phrases, simple words, and even incomplete sentences.
Exactly. It's not about fluency right away. It's about getting comfortable with the language as it is now and letting your brain adjust over time.
Another myth is that you have to think in English perfectly from the start. Nope. It's okay to make mistakes in your thoughts. Just focus on expressing yourself without translating.
So start small, be kind to yourself, and remember every bit of English you think in brings you one step closer to fluency.
And if you have any more questions, feel free to send them to us. We love hearing from our listeners.
Now let's get into the wrap-up. All right, let's quickly recap what we've covered today. To get your brain to think in English, start by labeling your environment, practicing inner speech, and describing your day in English.
Then, boost your daily exposure, watch shows, listen to music, and change your devices to English. And don't forget the power of journaling and shadowing native speakers.
Remember, it's all about consistency and patience. Your brain will adjust over time, and every small step counts.
So, don't stress if you don't see instant results. Keep practicing, have fun, and enjoy the process. You're building a skill that'll last a lifetime.
Exactly. Keep challenging your brain, stay motivated, and celebrate those small wins. Thanks for joining us today on the English Learning Podcast.
We'll see you next time, and until then, keep thinking in English.
And that's all for today's episode. We hope you found these tips helpful and that you're ready to start thinking in English.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit subscribe and share it with your friends. And if you have any questions or want to share your progress, drop us a comment or send us a message. We love hearing from you.
Also, make sure to check out our other episodes in the English Learning Podcast playlist for more tips and tricks. Until next time, keep practicing and stay motivated.
Take care and keep thinking in English.